Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cam Center. I'm your host Cameron, and I'm here with my other co-hosts Caleb and Kyle. Caleb, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Kyle, how are you doing?
I'm doing just swell. Just swell.
Well, that's good to know. We're going to start off with the first topic, and it's about the NFL. The Oakland Raiders are thinking about moving to San Antonio. Why would you move it to a small market to an even smaller market? That doesn't make any sense. Caleb, how do you feel about this?
Well, first of all, San Antonio isn't a football town, so it makes no sense. And second of all, you move to LA. It's just move to LA. It's so simple. LA needs a football team. San Antonio doesn't. Oakland needs to get the fuck out of where they are. Move to LA. It's that simple. Don't go to San Antonio.
If the NFL is afraid of this big bad wolf known as Los Angeles, move them to Canada. Why not Canada?
Sure, why not?
Move them to Toronto. The
Toronto
Toronto
Raiders.
Raiders.
That's not bad, actually.
It's not. Kyle, how do you feel about this?
Well, I don't know much about football. I think we've learned that by many past episodes of Camp Setting. But I do know Oakland is a relevant city. So why not go to Los Angeles? Or, hey, come to Michigan. We have a thing for bad teams. Become the Grand Rapids Raiders. How about that? There we go.
No.
I think the whole point of leaving Oakland is to get away from a bad part of town.
Hey, Grand Rapids is not that bad compared to Detroit.
What about Battle Creek?
No one cares about Battle Creek.
Rob Van Dam, don't diss them.
I was about to say that.
Well, I'm just saying, if you live in Michigan, you don't give a damn about Battle Creek. It's the three big cities we have in Detroit, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids. We don't even care
What
about
are
our
the other
capital.
two?
Detroit, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo.
I've never heard of those other two.
Kalamazoo?
Well, if you live in Michigan, you know Kalamazoo. So why not the Kalamazoo Raiders?
Because that sounds horrible.
And Oakland Raiders sounds so much better. How about the San Antonio Raiders? That sounds so good. Doesn't it?
Oakland Raiders actually sounds really good. They just need to get the hell out of Oakland.
Yeah. But
Well, how about we do that? You split California into 6 different states, and you can call them North California Raiders.
okay, you've heard about that story too.
It's really stupid.
I like the idea. I like the idea. I like the idea.
I like the idea. I do not like the idea of what they're going to name each state. North, South, West, East.
What's
Then
wrong
you
with that? Oh, okay, we're getting off topic. We'll talk about
This
that
has
after we're done
nothing to do with
recording.
sports.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we're done recording. Do any of you guys have any last comments?
No.
Nothing they do will make me care about them.
And
That's
a
harsh.
word from a Lions fan. Going on, going on, we're going to talk about Ray Rice and him being suspended for the first 2 games of the season. Caleb, how do you feel about this?
First of all, granted, he was seen dragging his girlfriend out of an elevator. We don't know necessarily what happened, nor do we know if she was. We don't know if she has any lacerations or any bruises on her at this time, do we?
I'm not sure.
All right. Once we hear more about the story, it'll be easier to talk about. But he should be suspended for a lot more than 2 games. I would say at least half of the season, because he's doing nothing but making the Ravens' image look bad with this.
You know what? That's very true. The Ravens image. Okay, a funny thing. The why the Ravens probably won't have a problem with this. Some people like you say they drafted a murderer.
They did.
That's up for debate for another time. Um, Kyle, how do you feel about this? Do you think the suspension was good enough? Was it heavy or was it too easy on them?
I think it was. I think they could have done more, but I don't know if there's any precedent set by other people doing this for suspensions or not. But my theory is there should have been the suspension plus a very big fine.
Is there any fine big enough to hurt an NFL player?
Well, what you do, I don't know what his current salary is. You take a fourth of his salary, and there's his fine. You have to donate that to some women's shelter. How
He's
about that?
still going to be filthy rich. So at that
Well,
point, I mean,
but
$4
at least
million is like a
some
watch and a car
shelters
to him.
help. So. Might not be hard to him, but some shelter gets help.
That's true. That's true. Um, Coming from a Ravens fan, it disgusts me what he did, but make it 4 games and a fine of some amount of money that they think could hurt him, but it really won't. I don't know. Um, I mean, if you think of the amount of fines they give to people, 500,000. That's a watch and a car to him. I mean, is there really any fine that could hurt a starting NFL player who's considered a star in the league?
Maybe $1 million.
Not even $1 million. That's like a vacation to him. That's not even enough.
Yeah, you are right. Finding NFL players is really weird because it doesn't take much out of their paycheck.
Yeah, it does. The only thing I can do is suspend them without pay, and even then, that's really not hurting them.
Yeah, exactly. Finding money in the NFL with taking it away is a weird situation.
Yeah, it's really weird.
When you're paying these guys so much.
Yeah, and that's also up for debate. Yeah. But Caleb, do you have any last comments on this?
I just think 2 games is not enough to be suspended for.
Kyle, what about you?
I think maybe 3 or 4 would be better. But I think what they should do, I think a better punishment would be 3 games, and he cannot practice in the off season.
They don't practice during the off season anyway. Usually, most NFL players get fat and let their bodies recover.
I see. I didn't know that, so that's not a punishment. Never mind. But you make him practice in the off season. How about that now? You make him practice.
I think that's illegal.
There are mandatory camps, but the stars usually don't go to them. That's usually in their contract that they don't have to go to mandatory practices.
So should we move on to another story?
We probably should. Going on to a lighter and funnier note, the Minnesota Twins, the baseball team, they signed a truck driver who throws a 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
I didn't know about this news until you told me about it earlier, and I think this is so weird.
It's really weird.
What's the backstory with how they found this guy?
They were like...
Actually, I know this. Can I say it?
Yeah.
They found him because he actually plays for a men's league in his town.
What?
So, he plays for a men's baseball league in his town.
Oh, seriously?
And I think that's where they found him.
It's the National.
So it's not like he has no
League.
baseball experience.
Any truck driver who's passing through our town, if you got a glove, you come play.
I'm so disappointed because what I thought when I heard this story was I thought that someone on the Twins just passed a truck driver and said, "Hey, you want to play ball?" And then the dude was like, "You're goddamn right, I'm tired of jacking off." And my grandpa was a truck driver. I know how truck drivers are. And he threw this, and they were like, "Whoa." And yeah, that's probably. I was hoping that would be the story, but apparently it's not. So that's disappointing.
Well, the Twins could use all the help they need, and I'm pretty sure in about 5 years, this is going to be a movie.
Oh yeah, you know it, and it's going to be so overdone. And Jake Gyllenhaal is going to have a beard, and he's going to play him.
It's not going to be Jake Gyllenhaal. It's going to be Mark Wahlberg.
Or it's going to be John Hamm.
You know what?
And it could be directed by Michael Bay.
Sylvester Stallone. He's already played a truck driver before.
Yes.
He will be on the mound, and when he turns his hat backwards, he throws the fastest fastball you've ever seen in the world. How about that?
Yo, man, I don't know, Twins, man. Do you really want me to work here? I gotta throw them balls, man, but I'm so used to the truck.
We should be talking about how the Twins probably scored the cheapest 100-mile-an-hour throw. So they only paid him $2,500.
Well, okay. Fastballs really, they don't mean anything nowadays. I mean,
Well, I'm still pretty sure $250,000 is still pretty cheap for a baseball player.
yeah, that's really cheap for a baseball player. Baseball players get paid the most ridiculous amount of money to be out of shape. Have you watched baseball lately?
Dude,
I have not.
I went to a game 2 months ago.
There are only like a handful of players who look like they could be athletes.
Exactly. and none of them shave either.
No, none of them shave. I don't understand what the life of a baseball player is.
We have a bunch of Daniel Bryans and that dude from Epic Mealtime running around.
Yes, yes. Funny story about Daniel Bryant. He's in a contest with an Oakland A's player to see who can go the longest without shaving. Did you know
Is it
that?
still going on?
It's still going on.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, damn.
And the people.
Well,
Daniel Bryan is.
it should be going on because a couple months ago, Brian trimmed his beard. So that should be like disqualification or something.
Why don't you go talk to the Oakland A's player about that?
What's his number? I'll call him up right now.
I will tell you that after we're done recording. I don't want him to know that I'll let you know his number. He probably already knows now, but.
Yep, I'm going to give him a call. Right at the conclusion of this video.
Alrighty, well. Caleb, do you have any last thoughts on this?
I cannot wait for some sort of movie in like 5 years, and I hope it's called Ice Road Pitchin'.
Ice Road Pitching is the one name. Kyle, give us a name for the movie.
Truckers Pitching Dynasty, maybe? I don't know. I can't think of a hillbilly enough name. Caleb kind of stole it.
Here's mine. Over the Mound, because it's going to start
Yes.
with Stallone. Over the Mound.
Over the Mound. Absolutely. It's perfect. And this is somehow, okay, after Over the Top, Sylvester Stallone's character, his son dies in a horrible accident. So he gets deep into his trucking and he retires from arm wrestling. And then that's whenever he realizes that his arm can still be used for good when he starts pitching with some Minnesota Twins player outside of a truck stop. And they say, hey, you should play for the Twins. He's like, I don't know, man. I'm retired. And then that's how the movie begins.
Okay. Well, now that we've all given you movie titles and Disney, because we all know Disney is going to make this movie, do not steal any of our ideas.
I hope Vivid makes a porn parody of it.
They probably will.
Over the Mounds.
Okay, before we start talking about pornography, let's go on to LeBron James choosing to wear the number 23 again.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he chose to wear number 23 again. People are making a bigger deal out of it than it should be.
I see no problem.
Said it's cool.
No issue at all. I have no problem with it at all. If Jordan's cool with it, who cares?
Kyle, how do you feel about this?
Well, it forces a bunch of what team does he play for again?
Cavaliers.
Cavaliers, okay, yeah. There's some so jumps I know. It's going to force a bunch of Cavalier fans to find a way to remove burnt pieces of ash from old 23 jerseys.
Did you not see
cool
the picture of the guy on some campus in Ohio with a burned LeBron jersey on? It literally had two big holes in the back of it, and he was wearing it. Yeah.
Oh, well, this doesn't surprise me because people from Ohio are stupid.
Ohio is cool now. Leave them alone.
Ohio is stupid.
We just know stupid people from Ohio. It's not bad as a state.
No, the state's pretty bad.
I like the Cavaliers.
Well, this is somebody from Michigan, so of course he's going to hate Ohio, like I hate Louisiana, and Caleb hates Texas.
See, first of all, I don't hate We'll get into my deal against Texas at another date. But also, speaking of the reason I have such a love for the Cavaliers is, well, they're not like one of my favorites or anything, but it was about a year ago that I was just a young man and I was playing NBA and I was a first round draft pick to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And ever since then, I've known. I'm kidding. I'm being fucking stupid. Let's just go on to the next thing.
Um, Now going to a little bit heavier topic. Stephen A. Smith was suspended for a week over his comments on First Take about the whole Ray Rice situation. He basically said that there's no reason for a guy to hit a woman, but then again, a woman shouldn't provoke a man. Caleb, how do you feel about this?
I think suspend. I'm so weird with this because it's like, yeah, what he said is kind of stupid, but I don't know. Like, I don't think suspending him for a week is like. It's not like what he said wasn't as bad as it could have been,
Yeah.
but it was. I get wanting to punish him, but just don't. I think a week is a bit heavy for it. I honestly do.
Honestly, you couldn't have just fined him.
Yeah, that's the situation. Just fine him. Like, why would you? I mean, Wayne. Also, to the thing earlier, it's because he's not getting paid as much as these $1 million athletes. So
Yeah. So a fine would actually hurt him, not like these athletes who are getting paid $80 million. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, just fine him like maybe $5,000.
I would go
Some
probably 20,000.
something. Take out a bit of his paycheck. Just
Yeah.
fine him. There is absolutely. Just in general, I don't get why he would be, especially since he's apologized for it. Just suspend him. I'm sorry. I just don't suspend him. I don't. I would just say fine him in this situation.
And this is
Here's
you can go, Kyle.
a question I have. Besides the overly like people who get offended easily, feminist chicks, once you sit back and realize what he said and what context he meant it in, are you really that offended? Once you realize what he meant to say, like, should we punish a guy for a lack for a better word?
Well,
He phrased something very wrong, but his main point still got across.
here's another reason why they suspended him. Michelle Beadle, who we all know is the host of Sports Nation,
Who we all love.
who we don't love as much now.
Wait. Why?
She ripped into Stephen A. Smith on Twitter.
Oh my god. Wait, seriously?
Yes, she made a
I didn't know
huge
that.
deal out of this. This is probably the main reason why he got suspended, is because they didn't want her to leave again.
Okay, so I'm actually looking at this right now because I did not know. You should have told me about this earlier because I wasn't aware of this.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm not like mad about it. It's just, I wasn't aware that this was such a big factor.
Yeah. Michelle Beadle ripped into him. She made a really big deal out of this on Twitter.
And this was yesterday?
Yesterday or the day before.
Already, I gotcha.
Here's my question, though. Of all the stupid things that have been said is this show done live or is it pre-recorded?
Yes, live.
Yes.
Okay. Out of all the stupid things that have been said on live television, is this really the most offensive thing to ever happen?
It's not the most offensive thing Stephen A. said.
Well, there you go. There you go.
It
shouldn't be a big deal. I understand why they may want to take action against him, but when you think about what he said, not so much exactly word for word, but what he tried to get across, are you that offended?
Not as much. Like, I don't necessarily agree with what he said with the exact way he worded that necessarily, but yeah, I'm not offended.
To make you understand.
Yes,
you don't agree with the way he worded it, but the point he was trying to make you get.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, if he would have said something like, in a relationship, you as a man and you as a woman should not do anything to provoke each other into a violent act, would that have sounded any different than what he said? Meant any different?
No.
No.
It means the same thing. It's just one's worded better and one's not.
Yeah.
I mean, except for, like I said, easily offended feminists who took offense to that, but it's not a shock. made a big deal out of it. Made a big deal out of nothing, which they typically do a lot.
You know what? All we can say is support Stephen A. Smith because he's the best host on ESPN.
Stephen A. Smith is. Did you say Stephen A. Smith is the best host on ESPN?
Yes, he is. He's
Skip Bayless, Michelle Beadle.
Stephen A. Smith is the best host on ESPN.
Skip Bayless.
Stephen A. Smith.
Skip Bayless.
Why is it turning into a race war?
This isn't a race war. This is literally just because I am Skip Bayless and you are Stephen A. Smith.
And Kyle is that weird black chick on First Take.
Can we just before we argue who's better host? Can we just agree ESPN's better than any other sports network out there?
Oh yeah.
We should agree to that.
I'm not a fan of Fox Sports 1 besides JR's columns.
But now, people, let's not talk about Fox Sports 1. They might want to hire us one day.
That's a good. If anyone was going to hire us, it would be them.
Because ESPN has class. And they don't need two white and black people to argue.
Speaking of which, I did just see Michelle Beadle's tweets, and she got a lot of backlash from people.
She deserved it.
Come on, no, she didn't. No, should Michelle Beadle have said this on Twitter? Absolutely not, but she didn't. Michelle Beadle gets enough hate as it is. She doesn't deserve to be called a fat cow.
She get hate?
She gets hate every single day. Do you not see it?
She does not get hate.
Yes, she does.
I
Yes, she does.
I refuse to believe she gets hate.
No.
Yes, she does. Oh, dude, do you follow her on Twitter?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Dude, she literally, like, the amount of trolls that tweet her every day is insane.
Okay, there's a difference between trolls and hate.
Okay, well, I will say this, though, should Michelle Beadle have talked to Stephen A. personally about it? Yes. Should she have left it off Twitter? Yes. Does she deserve to get hate and called a stupid fat bitch for it? No. Not at all.
No. I disagree. I don't know who she is. But if you put something in a public forum where it shouldn't be, you just have all the backlash that you get from it. You put it there. You put yourself in that position. Period.
That's a fair point.
She didn't need to do that.
No, but I will say this doesn't, even though I do disagree with her putting that on Twitter, it doesn't change my opinion that she is still her, Stephen A. and Skip are still my holy trinity of sports hosts on ESPN. That doesn't change.
Yeah.
That doesn't change anything. I'm still a Michelle Beadle fan. I'm not going to suddenly think it's going to take a lot for me to dislike Michelle Beadle, because even if I learn that she's a complete horrible person, I still love her work. So, still. And plus, I like Michelle. Okay, can we go? Are we gonna? Yeah. Am I dragging this on by talking about Michelle Beadle?
Yeah, because we all love Michelle Beadle, so it's understandable.
Yeah, exactly.
Kyle, it's your spotlight. It's your moment. Are you ready to shine?
It's about time I get the spotlight. It's too bright. Turn it down, Jimmy. Okay, better now. Here we go. Now, for those who are listening who love NASCAR, which would be me, and probably one of you listening, you watched the Brickyard 400, the 21st race ran this last weekend, where we saw Jeff Gordon win his 5th win overall, becoming only the second driver in motorsports to have 5 wins at the track, tied with Michael Schumacher in the F1. This is his first win at the track since 2004. Joe Gibbs Racing swept the top second to 4th with Hamlin, Busch, and Kenseth, and then Logano carried out the top 5. But the big story coming out of Indy would be Carl Edwards officially leaving Roush Fenway. Cameron, do you have any thoughts on him officially? And now it being official, like we pretty much knew it was happening, but now it's official that he's not coming back to Roush.
Well, I'd say it's perfect, and he should just take on number 5.
Caleb, I know you don't know anything about NASCAR, which is well documented, but do you have anything to say about Carl Edwards?
I don't.
You want to talk about Danica Patrick?
Yes, she's amazing and sexy, and I love her so much. There's a commercial where she beats the shit out of a gas station host, or a person who works at a gas station or whatever. It's amazing.
Sounds like the only thing she can win at. Okay.
So besides
Cameron,
my heart, she's won my heart back.
something of relevancy.
That's mean. You're basically Michelle
Cameron,
Beadle.
so I'm awesome.
Yes. And you also
I,
and you've also stolen my heart. This makes no
Cameron,
sense. Okay, let's just. I'm
I
gonna
know
stop
you
talking.
kind of already said. I know you already kind of said who you think Edwards is going to, but for those who don't know who the 5 car is, what team do you predict Edwards will be landing in next year?
Hendricks Motorsports.
You concrete on that?
Concrete. Adamantium.
My
Yeah.
vote
Vibranium.
Vibranium.
Well, I think he'll go to Joe Gibbs. He'll be in 18 M&Ms. Kyle Busch going over to 54 Monster Energy. That's my prediction. Watch it happen. And the only other big news come out of not only Indy but this week is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Probably one of the most popular drivers in NASCAR, next to Danica Patrick. Well, he's the most winningest popular driver. The only winningest popular driver. Okay. It was announced earlier this year that his crew chief Steve Letarte would be leaving to go to NBC, and this week we finally get the announcement who would be replacing him with Greg Ives, who Cameron is very fond of, seeing how he was the lead engineer in the 48 camp since 2004 until 2004 to 2012. Cameron, do you have any response to that?
He's gonna win now. I'm expecting 5 straight championships.
We'll see. Caleb, any thoughts whatsoever?
No, because I don't know anything about this.
You want to talk about Danica Patrick one more time?
She's so sexy. She has my heart. There's nothing else to say.
Well, I think it's something good for him, and I guess going forward, I was wrong, but good for him. And that's about all the NASCAR talk we have this weekend. This week, and this next race coming up will be Pocono, where it'll probably rain for a good 20 hours. But that's about it.
Because some voodoo priest has put a rain curse on NASCAR this season. Have you noticed that? It's rained a lot.
Yeah, and then it's Pocono. Pocono, it always at least has one rain out a season.
Oh, that Pocono.
But let's not move the date for the event. No, let's not move it. We just killed a guy with lightning.
Well, that's dark and deep. Did you have to mention that?
Well, it happened. I wasn't just going to avoid saying it didn't happen. Back in 2012, it happened. 2011, I'm sorry. 2011.
Well, that 2011 race just didn't happen. Erase it from history.
It happened to this guy.
Wait, did someone get killed by lightning in 2011?
Yes, there was at Pocono. It rained out. There's a bad storm. NASCAR was cock teasing calling it, and then this guy was in the grandstands and lightning struck and killed him.
Jesus.
That race never happened.
I'm pretty sure it happened to him and his family.
The Crispin Watch.
I get the joke. I'm pretty sure it still happened to this guy.
It didn't happen. It's all a figment of our imagination.
Oh, so Jeff Gordon's back to 89 wins.
I wish he would have stayed at 69 his entire career.
Well, that's all. That's all the NASCAR news for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, I'm not entirely surprised.
Alrighty, everybody. Well, this is the end of this week's Cam Center. Next week, is it written in stone, Caleb? Or we're going to do the NFL playoff predictions?
Yeah.
It's written in stone, people. We have a special guest. He was a star quarterback for the
No, he wasn't. He was. He never
Don
played.
Meredith, people. We're getting him. Are you excited?
He never. My dad is not a former football player, but he will be on the show next week. He will be on the show.
Wait. Danny Johnston will be on the show next week?
No. Dandy Don Meredith.
My dad's last name is not Meredith. That makes no sense.
It is Meredith. Dandy Don, people. We're going to see Dandy Don next week. He's going to give us our playoff predictions. Everybody should be excited. You should come back. This is the end of Cam Center. I'm Cameron.